Hey everybody, just working on getting set up. So, having a little bit of a. Here, let's get a. I'm just gonna try to make sure that I've got like a video capture. So that we can, so you can see me, something like that. Give me just a minute while I add that in. How's everybody doing? Good to see we got YouTube working. Sweet. It's always a good day. Oh, awesome. Looks like Twitch is on. Cool. Alright, now we got my face on there. Hey Chris. Hey Rohan, how you doing? Cool. Cool. Well, so for those of you who are interested, okay, so over on my Instagram, I had created a kind of a poll, trying to ask people what they'd like to see. Hey, yes, how you doing? And somebody said a character from Avatar: Last Airbender. Yeah, the character that I picked is kind of a redesign that I did a couple years, well, several years back actually. This would have been while I was in school. We did some friends and I took a design on us to do a redesign of the Avatar: Legend of Korra characters, and Steven Anderson. Maybe should I change to let's do this one. There we go. Let's do that. I think that'll be a little bit better. But let's turn off restream chat. Okay, now I think we're good. Cool. Yeah, it's better. All right, that'll work. And let's just make sure that the filter. Okay, cool. Last time we had issues with the chroma key from my webcam image, giving us issues with the visual, and so because before that, there had been a time where I had a green screen behind me, and so it was really cool having just my head right. Anyway, so whatever. Can't hear voice. Do you the blackout style in ZBrush? I have no idea what that is. No voice I can hear. Well, I mean, I know that my voice is going through because I can see the levels of it going through on my OBS. So maybe check your. Maybe I'll type that in Facebook. Maybe check that your computer audio is on. All right. Sweet. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy and all of that. This has been a tricky time. All right. Let's see, bring that up so that we can see it. All right. Okay. So today, based off of polls of what we had in the on my whatchamadiggits, we're gonna go through and build this character. So well, not this character. This character is just the base. So we're gonna build this character out. We're gonna be taking and modifying this character to be this guy. Okay, so I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's a really great show, Avatar: Legend of Korra. Okay. I went to IKEA and Costco today. People were everywhere. I was surprised, but then I was there too. So, okay. Oh, so the round toolbox that I had right here, this is Spotlight. This is to be able to load in reference so that you can see it on your UI. This is the best way that I have of being able to do that. Yeah, good job. Awesome. I'm glad you can hear now. It's always hard when those things happen. But yeah, so this is so that I can go through and I can modify these. I'm not going to change what I have right here, but you have different options of things being able to do, like Snapshot 3D, which will go through and it'll essentially use the image of your spotlight like an alpha. And black it'll keep keep an image, and then or black it'll kind of use it as like a transparency and kind of use it as negative space, and whatever is light and value will be a uh, positive. And so thanks, yeah. Um, uh, so so yeah, I mean this is a great tool. And then you have different things. You can go through. You can tile your images. You can change how tall or wide they are. All sorts of things. You can delete images, copy them. You can you can bond them together. It's kind of interesting. So and then you can change your opacity and your scale. And this is oh, and your rotation. So your rotation, your scale, and your opacity. Those are the main ones that I use it for. Um, I won't be going into short keys a whole lot. I want to actually kind of get into some of the sculpting, but I will be kind of talking about some basic things as I go. So for instance, I like to use just the right hand, the right mouse button. I don't have to use my other hand to be able to kind of toggle around and rotate around my object. Super handy, really nice. Okay, so everything's going to be using just the right mouse button. I'm using a Wacom stylus. So I've got my buttons set up so that I have a great deal of mobility in 3D. So I work in multiple programs. So I have my keys set up so that I can work inside of ZBrush and Maya, and I don't have to worry about resetting up everything. So for instance, my right mouse button is this front one, really easy to use, really easy to access. And then I have my back button set up to be my middle mouse button. So really super handy. And then I don't even have to necessarily touch it to my tablet. In fact, there's my tablet right here. So I mean, I don't even have to touch it to my tablet to be able to use it. So right now I'm just kind of hovering over it, and then if I right mouse click and drag, I'm not even touching the tablet, but it's letting me kind of rotate my model. So really nice, super handy. A must-have for all things 3D. But yeah, and then you go through. You have two different keyboard buttons to be able to do that. No, I don't use a trackball for 3D. I use a Wacom stylus and tablet. It's a super handy tool. I use it for everything. I use it for Maya. I use it for ZBrush. I use it for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, everything. Um, there are things that I have a mouse for, just a basic Amazon mouse. It's like a $7 mouse. It's super cheap, but it does what it needs to do. So I can use my mouse. I haven't used the 3D pen. That'd be super cool to get to at some point. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's jump into this. So let's see. So I mean, obviously, I need to modify my character's body. The character in my image, it's very much a man, and so the idea behind this is a redesign of a character from Legend of Korra. I chose a Mon, and I chose to give it an Old West sort of spin. So he's got kind of a shaman feel to him. You get it, shaman, shaman. That's kind of a stretch. Hey Quentin, how you doing, bud? Base model looks like Pocahontas. Maybe a little bit. It's kind of a super stylized version of my wife. Very. I think it has a long way to go. It kind of a start on that anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead. Let's get this saved into the right folder. I'm on 01. Okay. Cool. So yeah, here we go. Let's get started. All right. So I mean, with your brushes, you can see like the red circle. Yeah, you see your red circle right here. The outer side represents your brush size. The inner red circle represents your focal point, your focal shift. You can see you got these right here. Your draw size is your brush size, and then your focal shift is kind of a fall off. So yeah, really super nice. I don't use one poly group. I use a ton of different poly groups. So yeah. And the reason is that polygroups allow me to make different selections, and I'll go through and I'll show a lot of that today. This is a sketch that I did last night to kind of figure out a bit of the character, what I want to have happen underneath the mask. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how I need to design the mask in order to fit this sort of face, or how I need to redesign the face in order to fit the mask. So, you know, we'll have to see. So here's what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to activate my gizmo by, you know, you can either come up here and click on it and make sure that your thing's active, control click on a poly group, and that'll go through and it'll mask out everything else. It's really super handy. So now if I go through and I move this, everything else is staying still. Masking and poly groups are some of the most simple and most effective tools inside of ZBrush. Love it to death. So cool. So instead what I can do, I'm going to control shift click on that blue poly group. I'm going to control shift click and drag to invert it. So now you see I can see everything except for that poly group. I'm going to control A to mask all of that. And now the difference between what this was and what we had before, if we can go through and kind of do this, you can see like I'm not getting the edge of those polygroups, and I want to control those edges. So that's why I'm going to go through and have it done that other way. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's get this kind of pulled out. With your brushes inside of ZBrush, you get all sorts of control. Let's go ahead. We'll do this. So with your brushes, what's nice is that I can easily take, well, I can easily change between my brushes. So I can, you know, if you hit B, it pulls up your brush menu, and then each brush has its own shortcut from there. So if I wanted to be able to get to my move brush, for instance, you can hit M to narrow it down, and then you can see there's a little orange secondary shortcut along there. Usually your brush is going, like, the first shortcut for your brush is going to be the first letter of the name of the brush. So, you know, ergo, M for move, and then V for you know, to finish that off. There's also move topological, which is really handy. There are a whole bunch of other things here. Some of these are masking tools, which I do use, and I'll show you how to use those or change those out in a minute. But yeah, that's the main thing. It's being able to get the keyboard shortcut kind of going in there. Some of them you kind of have to just memorize. Yeah. let's see, I'm gonna have to turn off some things. Let's see, turn off the moles. I don't think I need moles, but I'll keep it for now. And then eyelashes. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, these polygroups are defined in a way to help me understand different landmarks of the face. Okay, so for instance, you'll see like this is getting a little bit messy, but we can go ahead and clean it up. So here's another quick tool. So instead of using the select rectangle when you're doing this, I mean, if you guys were here a couple weeks ago, you saw me use this a ton. Instead of using the select rectangle, I'm going to hold Control Shift. I'm going to come over to my select lasso, and what that'll allow me to do is Control Shift click on an edge, and that'll hide that loop. Okay, so you can see I've got that going on both sides. If you don't have that going on both sides and you want to be able to work in symmetry, either hit X to turn it on or off. So there now it's off. Turn it back on, you get the thing on both sides. Oops. Or you can come up to transform and down to activate symmetry, and you have a whole bunch of different options in there. I recommend playing with this. This is super handy. Grab a sphere, see what all these things do. Radial symmetry is super handy, and you'll get to use that for all sorts of things. Last year on a project I did here on ZBrush Live, you can look it up. I started working on a Candyland inspired scene where I used radial symmetry to make an Oreo cookie, or an Oreo type cookie. Anyway, Control A to be able to mask all that, and then Control Shift tap to bring everything back, and you see now I've got my one edge loop unmasked. It's probably my favorite little trick. So Control Shift tap on those edge loops, and then bada bing bada boom. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is I want to control these so that they stay kind of, in order. Let's get some major face changes happening in here. Start pulling out the neck. Sometimes if your brush size isn't getting big enough, one of the things you can do is you can come up and you can turn off dynamic by double tapping that. Double tapping in case the single tapping isn't working. But yeah, and then you can just adjust your draw size to what you need to be. I find that to be an extremely helpful thing. Okay, I'm gonna kind of so if you can Control tap on your mesh when you have it masked, that allows you to soften your mask. And likewise, when you have your mesh, it's going to look really weird for a little while, guys. So don't be judging it quite yet. It's kind of the funny thing about working with a base mesh, especially one that you take to a completely different look. Right now I'm just using my move brush. I tend to use my move brush probably more than any other brush, especially at the beginning where I'm just trying to figure out shapes, I'm trying to figure out proportions. Okay, so I mean this is going to look really bad for a while, so I apologize. But it's all good, right? It's all good. Looks really weird. Let's get rid of the breasts. I think that's one of the things that's kind of most weird to me. Okay. It's a lot that we need to fix down here. And then we'll have to like refine some of these shapes here as time goes on. In fact, let's do this. So you see right there, I mean, I have a mask and I'm just kind of clicking and dragging it out. You could also like draw the mask on. I like to usually use the mask lasso. It just gives me a quick, easy flexible flexible sort of effect there. Yeah, let's kind of smooth that down. The legs are looking too bodacious, so we're gonna try to. And one of the other things that I can do, I have an anatomy model here from 3D Total that I like to use as reference. Okay, you see it's like, you know, it's got half muscle group, okay, over on this side, and then over here it's got the you know, regular skin type. Okay, kind of hard to see there. Maybe it's easier to see there. But yeah, so muscle type. Okay, so I can see like the muscle separation, the insert, and the origin points. And then I can see, you know, just the way that the body looks over on the other side. So keep that handy, and then yeah, that way it'll help me to get a better handle on what's happening in the anatomy. So I can see like I've got a lot here to change. Oh, that's messy. Yeah, we've got like a funny little edge right here. It's not really wanting to behave, so I just got to kind of smooth it out. If you see like you see a second ago I had this edge is kind of going off center. So all I did is I went through and I smoothed it out, and now I just got to kind of sculpt it back into place. Not a huge deal. It can be kind of annoying if it happens a lot, but yeah, not too bad. Yeah, let's kind of give him a little bit of that going in there. He looks too much like the dude that plays the Flash. I'm gonna, not the one from the TV show, the one from the Justice League. So here's what we got to do. I'm gonna modify these eyes so that I have room to modify the nose. I think it's Ezra something, right? Yeah, so this is a base mesh that I created based off of things that I learned working for Disney. So a lot of the topology flow is very similar to what would exist in recent shows. You know what? Let's see. Let's come over here. Let's take that. Okay. So I'm going to take this. Now that I've softened my mask for the eyes, I need to also be able to modify the eyeball itself. Let's unsolo that. So if I look at my eyes, you can see I have two separate spheres. I mean, they're kind of angled out so that they're not, so they don't look cross-eyed. Let's go ahead and turn this back. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to hit my pizza boxes, is what we affectionately call this. So on the gizmo, we're just going to come over here. Actually, let's make sure this is centered. Just kind of bring that in, scale it in, we'll rotate it down a little bit. Okay, and then let's work on changing up the nose shape now. Made us a little bit of space. Yeah, let's make a little bit more. With this character, I want that brow to feel a little bit heavier, and I want it to feel fairly native, you know. Let's start pulling the nose forward now. Start pulling it back. Start pulling the shape up. This might not even work. So I mean, this is all a matter of trying things out. So let's turn that off. Let's try the same thing for this down here. So again, you know, polygroups, super handy. In fact, let's do this. I'm gonna mask out the corners of the mouth and then soften it. Yeah. Okay, so the mouth is starting to feel much more masculine. Let's see what we can do. Get ZBrush! Thanks, Nightbot. If yes, can you show how? What are we, If yes, what? I'm looking at Sahil on YouTube. I'm not understanding your question. So if you could clarify that for me, that'd be great. Hannibal. Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to screw it up. I mean, you can still see it still has some finesse that I need to do, but you know it's a start. Yeah, so I mean you can see, you know, I've got to come in here and kind of fix this little bit back here, and you know I'll still have to refine some later on, but you know it's, you know, block in stages. Okay, so let's see, let's work on getting, I want to get kind of a little bit heavier a jowl in here. So I'm going to come over, I'm going to do my, my hiding trick right here. Okay. In fact, let's do that as well. Control A, Control Shift A. Okay, bring everything back. And we can just kind of pull this forward some. Okay, and then let's come over here. Let's grab this bad boy. And this edge loop that we're working on right now, this is going to be the crease, the nasolabial fold. So I'm just going to kind of bring this back. It's really wide. Let's start making this. It's like there's so much that is going on and that needs to kind of still happen for this to work properly. It's like whenever you're working from a base mesh and you're trying to take it from one thing and make it something that's totally super different, you're going to have a really weird stage where it just looks super bad. All right, let's take that, kind of pull it in. I want the shoulders to feel more masculine, like he's kind of got, you know, warrior's background. So we got, I mean, obviously we've got like a ton of reshaping to do. I see we got the issue with the symmetry on the back here too. Not entirely sure why I got that, but I did, so you know, just fix it. Last time I streamed, I got the question of why work with a base mesh and why do some people you know, start with a sphere, and why do they feel like they have to reinvent the wheel? It's not necessarily a matter of somebody feeling like they have to reinvent the wheel. It's more a matter of what the end result is, what they're trying to achieve with it. Let me see. We're gonna have to work out some proportions here. So I know that at a lot of different studios, at a lot of different places, like, you know, Disney being an example, one of the things that happens at Disney is that, yeah, that's going to feel better lengthwise. is that there's, for each show, there's like a base mesh that is established. And then the characters are kind of all pulled out from that. Is that Vice Wolf or is it VLC Wolf? Yeah, so I started on a base mesh. I started this from a base mesh, just because I want to be able to spend more time creating and less time butting my head up against why topology isn't working. Local symmetry, scale that up in place. Okay, let's get this going. But yeah, one of the downfalls to working with a base mesh is that things tend to start to look the same. And so that's something that you just got to be aware of, is that if you are working from a base mesh, you got to make sure that you are controlling the mesh and really looking for the shape that you want, rather than letting the shape kind of, I don't know, dictate itself. Okay, let's start pulling this around. Actually, I don't think I wanted to soften that at all. Shoot, come on. Come on. My brain's farting. Okay, Control A. Now we can go back. Okay, now we're good. Okay. I wanted to control that that eye shape so that when I fix this nose, I mean, like we said, we're going to be going back and forth a lot on these shapes to make it so that this is so that it starts working. There's a lot going on, and when you're really modifying a face like this, yeah, there's going to be a lot of kind of back and forth. You'll get going forward in some areas, and you'll be like, well, that really screwed up this. You can see I got some issues with symmetry right there too, so just kind of smooth that out, and then we can fix it. Bring back that ridge a little bit. Okay. Trying to keep up a little bit with the chat. There's a lot going on today. I'm not used to things going so quickly with this. Well, welcome, Stephen. Yeah, so I did take the female mesh to this old dude, and working on kind of pushing it further. I got a lot left to do for this to kind of really be working. But yeah, let's do this. Yeah, but it's on its way. Got to really pull out these cheekbones, make it feel. It's not so much that that I wanted to start from, that that was the goal of, I wanted to show taking a female mesh into being a male character. It's more just that I knew that I had a base mesh that kind of had somewhat the shapes that I wanted to start with in the face, and so I was able to just kind of pull that, work from that. So that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to see. That's still feeling really weird. That back needs to be fixed. Pull this out. So yeah, again, just for those of you who are kind of just tuning in, this is me kind of doing my redesign of Amon from Avatar: Legend of Korra. It's a great show, so much fun. And yeah, so when I was in school, we did this design challenge amongst a bunch of friends where we wanted to take the characters of Legend of Korra and turn them into like Old West style. You know, this is sort of a mashup, redesign sort of exercise. So much fun. So since the people from the Water Tribe, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the series, people from the Water Tribe are often a little darker skin, kind of Native American sort of looking. I figured a shaman would be a really cool thing to mix up with Amon, since he's kind of got that sort of look in his mask anyway. He's got these cool Shoshone sort of esque characters. I know Shoshone's kind of a different region, but you know, still native and still American. Starting to come along. Okay, so this is needing to be a lot heavier in here. Let's take this. Let's pull this shape out so we get more of that shape through the chin. I feel like he's looking way older than I want him to look, but he's starting to look like he could be Native American. So it's at least starting to be somewhat successful. Yeah, Amon is one of the totally best villains. Here, which one was he? I can't remember. But yeah, Amon was. So it was Avatar: Legend of Korra. So cool. But yeah, Amon was amazing to me because he was so mysterious, and I mean the way that he haunted Korra, it was just incredible. That's a little bit too much there and not enough there, so let's go ahead and take that. Boom. Yeah, I mean it was like I felt adrenaline rushes during the whole show. It was awesome. And I feel like any show that can make you feel things like that, super cool. Very well written, very well designed. Animation was top notch, so fluid, super believable. I loved it. Loved it. So yeah, if there's anybody out there that worked on it, awesome. Loved it. I can't say that enough. Okay, let's go ahead. It's bothering me how far out the arms are, so I'm just going to go ahead and take these. Kind of pull that in. And just for the sake of being able to make sure that I can kind of control that area too, let's kind of pull this. Oh, keep that masked. Yeah. Airbending dude. That's right. Yeah, the guy that was stuck in jail and learned airbending just by thinking about it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, switching from YouTube to Twitch. Yeah, that's a good call. I easily prefer Twitch. It seems to be a much smoother platform to watch streams on. It feels like it's more up to date, it's more in time. So, that's kind of my recommendation or my preference. Uh, Nobody has to switch to Twitch. I mean, that's just kind of my personal preference, but yeah. Yeah, so good call. Uh, yes, Sunarl. Call you Yaz. Call you Yaz. Oh yes. Okay. So let's see. Right now, just trying to get a little bit more of a grip on kind of what's happening with these arms. So by the end of today, I'm hoping to. These eyes are like way too big and way too far apart. So we're gonna have to like make these a little bit smaller. So what I did, Control Shift tap right between the polygroups. That'll kind of isolate those polygroups, and then Control Shift X if you want to grow it out a few. I do this a ton. It's so handy. So yeah, do that, and then invert it, smooth it, invert it again, smooth it. Yeah, that way you can just kind of make sure that it's a nice smooth transition. Turn off solo. Let's go into the eyes. I don't need that turned on. I hold Alt to be able to kind of reset the rotation, and then you let go of Alt and hit the little "You Are Here" button to go to unmasked center. Turn on pizza boxes, kind of bring them in toward the center. Trying to decide. Something like that feels kind of cool. I might decide against it later, but we'll see. And then I'm trying to decide how much of this sketch to actually keep. So I mean, because like the actual character, I mean, the mouth is like way up here, and the chin comes way out here. I'm not sure I like that as much, but we'll have to see like where this goes. Let's hide that. Oops. Come on. Okay, let's take this. Turn off my pizza boxes. That's always important, just to keep an eye on like what your Brandon Piper. I know that dude. Have you've been sculpting at all? During this time of stuff. I don't even know what to call it. Time of quarantining. Ruslan, how you doing, brother? Привет. So speaking of languages, so it's been really fun lately. Last few weeks, I've been going through trying to learn French and Portuguese, um, as if I have time, right? Uh, but it's been really cool. I really like the French language. Portuguese, I've never been a huge fan of because I I don't know. It sounds so different from Spanish, and I really like Spanish. Um, but yeah, I mean, Duolingo has been really super helpful to be able to kind of get. I'm in no way sponsored by Duolingo for saying this, but if you would like to sponsor me, I can send you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's been super super cool. So I've been trying to push myself on Duolingo to learn French and Portuguese. And I feel like I've been getting a better grasp of Portuguese. Um, Andreas, Andreas, that's funny. Um, but yeah, I feel like I've been getting a lot better grasp on Portuguese because the rules are not so complicated. French, I feel like, has been a struggle for me because it has its set rules. In fact, the French language is kind of interesting in that they have a whole um, kind of I don't want to say committee. But they have like it's almost like this major law bit that kind of goes through and decides this huge school, if you will, of French that decides the rules of the French language. And if anything in the French language is officially changed, I mean, it's a pretty big deal, and it doesn't happen. Um, and so, culturally, the French language is pretty set. Um, but the rules for somebody who's trying to learn through Duolingo, it's not as easy. Um, I've been able to pick up on a few things, but I haven't been able to pick up on like the differences between, or like not all the differences between a and un and dans, like into and in. Yeah, like the way that the app uses them kind of interchangeably, but then discounts you when you use them interchangeably. It's just trying to figure out the difference. So if you natively Spanish speaking, asked him if he thinks in English, told me he does not, but translates on the fly. Yeah, for me, I think a lot in Spanish. Um, I'm a native English speaker, so that might be kind of weird to some people, but I spent 2 years speaking just Spanish, and so it's something that is really easy for me to. I got to a point where I dream in Spanish, and it's just cool. I really super enjoy the Spanish language. You know who this guy looks like? He looks like the guy from The Mummy. Noxum amor. Actually, I don't think that was the way that you say that. What was the mummy's name? I can't even remember. Now I can't unsee it. Dang it. Let's start going in and blocking out the other things. I don't think I'm going to have um, a ton of time to kind of go through and refine the whole body of this character. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of make him so that he feels like he's at kind of a relaxed standing pose. Let's pull this. Never going to see that. But you guys will know that I went through and kind of pulled that over some. Let's see. Emotep. You guys are awesome. Looks like a hairless food crit from Ratatouille. That would be funny. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep, like, how much of this I want to keep. I'm starting to kind of like I was taking the shapes really, really far at the beginning, and now I'm really kind of dialing it back. You'll see, like, if you go through and you do similar sort of things, similar sort of projects, sometimes you'll push it so far, you'll be like, I don't know that I really like it. I'm at that stage right now. And this is really, really messy. Anyway, I mean, it serves as enough of a block-in that I can go through and start working on the mask, and I really want to start getting to that mask, so where are you from, Yaz? Where are you from? Okay, I do want this pulled out some more though. It's like I have a lot of issues with just leaving a face unfinished, even if I'm going to be covering it with a mask. But let's start pulling in these other elements, because I want to be able to pull in. I want to be able to create the coyote headdress right there. I want to be able to create the shawl. So let's do this. I'm going to say append. Oop, come on, append. Sphere 3D. Okay. So I'm just going to make this biggie sized. Shrink it down a little bit. What's nice. Oop, make sure symmetry is turned on. When you bring in append new things, it's not going to have your symmetry, so it's we don't need a rivalry. I don't know how to say rivalry in French, but français is the the other part of it. Le rivalry française. Yeah, I got a lot of learning to do. That's too dense. So you see, I went through and turned it up to like 1.5 million points. So I'm just going to take the resolution down all the way, blur down all the way. See, that's better. That's more what I was wanting. Take the Z intensity up so we can get a good smooth on this. Okay, so what I'm wanting to do now is I'm literally just pulling out and kind of a shawl sort of piece here. Ooh, that's really strong. Why is that so strong? There we go. So let's pull that in and around. Let's pull that up, pull this down. You know, it's funny, is like I was hoping to be able to take my wife to France, specifically to like Bordeaux or to yeah, Marseille, somewhere down south, for our anniversary this year. This year we're hitting 10-year anniversary, and really wanted to, you know, do something like that. She speaks French. She lived in Geneva, Switzerland. She did an internship in Paris, and you know, so she's, you know, fluent with her French, and want to give her, you know, opportunities to use it and things like that. Maybe jump over the border into Switzerland. You know, I don't know, but with the way that the world is right now, I mean, even though Paris is opening up again, it still feels kind of weird. You know, thinking about trying to go and visit because we don't necessarily feel super safe. In fact, we don't even feel safe going and visiting my in-laws anymore. because neighbors over in their neighborhood had gotten the virus, and so we're kind of feeling a bit stuck. If you do that, where it's like you accidentally like grab your document space, the empty space around the outside, and swirl it around, and you want to be able to keep your same angle, you can just come over here and you can lock your camera. It's a super nice. So now it doesn't matter. It's like I'm grabbing that document and it's not spinning it. Super nice. So yeah, just clay buildup. I love using clay buildup. It's so useful. It's so useful, and so I really like using it when I'm trying to build in different forms like this. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pull this in. People will use different brushes depending on what they're trying to do, and everybody says the same thing, where I only use a very limited number of brushes. You know, not any different for me. I use the main brushes that I like to use. I have clay buildup. I have Damien Standard. I've been enjoying. So right there is the Damien Standard. I've been enjoying using. What's it called? The Slash brush. I learned that one from Ashley Adams, who's another streamer on here. I'm just gonna build in some asymmetry here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to build something of like a, you know, something that feels like it's a heavy pelt. So I'm trying to use like really thick folds. I'm gonna have to change up this silhouette. This is it's too symmetrical. But yeah. Okay. This may be like way too thick though. And then what I gotta do is I gotta kind of add a little bit of a sag. It's feeling a little bit too buoyant, too up. Like it doesn't feel like it's hanging. So a lot of that can be fixed by just trying to like sculpt on the bottom rather than sculpting on the front. So we're gonna do some more of that. What are some of the things that you guys have done to be able to? Yeah, so this is currently this is just Dynamesh. I have used a lot of Sculptress in the past, and I love it. I just don't really feel like I super want to at the moment. It's a lot more system intensive than Dynamesh is, because I have to. There we go. I have to. It's constantly remeshing. It's constantly performing new, creating new geometry and things like that. And so there we go. It's starting to feel more pelty. Actually feels like a melty marshmallow. see, where is that shoulder in relation? Okay, so shoulder's up here, good. Okay, so since I'm looking for pretty much just the front view, we're going to worry about, stop it. We're going to worry about really just sculpting this on the front so that it's a bit of a time saver. Actually, I think I want to take this and make it so that it feels more like it's kind of flaring out to the side a little bit, as if it's something that's draped over top of him. Maybe I'll take this and just kind of make it so that it's caving in. Yeah. So where's everybody from? I saw that we have a couple of Frenchies fighting out which area of France is the most beautiful city in the world. What else do we have? Who else do we got around right now? One of the nice things about having the dynamic mode turned off is that the brush stays a constant size in relation to screen space, not to your model or how zoomed in or zoomed out you are. We got Atlanta, we got the Bay Area, we got Switzerland, Argentina, Turkey, cool, Kansas, man, Egypt. That's pretty cool. Like, Egypt is one of those places that I would love to visit. I've met a very limited number of Egyptians in my life, but always such pleasant people. So it's been cool. My wife doesn't really have an interest in like Middle East. She loves Europe. Doesn't really care for Asia. I would love to go to Asia though. And in fact, when the stuff that I worked on for Disneyland Tokyo comes out, we'll be going out to Japan to see that. So that'll be nice. But so I'll have to take the most advantage of the time in Japan as I can. But yeah, we'll see. Poland, Russia. Just found from the place with Earth's oldest forest. The oldest forest, huh? Interesting. Trinidad and Tobago, yeah. Algeria, Italy, wow. Cool. India, Poland, yeah, Poland's pretty cool. Ohio, what part of Ohio? My granddad, my papa was from, he was born in Canton. Well, born and raised, I guess. Taiwan, cool, welcome. Ecuador, bienvenidos amigos. Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. Okay, so I want to go through and create this hood now. Okay, so I'm going to do that by, I'm going to essentially just take my mask, go to my mask pen, and we're just going to mask out this little area right here. Okay, so essentially all I want to do, all I have to do, just make sure that that's enough of a mask. In fact, let's come bring it down here too. That could be cool. Have it so that it's kind of trailing down the back. Yeah, ooh, that's a cool idea. Make it so that it's not completely even. Yeah. Okay. Essentially, all I'm doing is looking for the silhouette of that coyote hood. And in fact, I probably should. Let's break. Oh, pardon. Let's do that. We're going to break that, and then we're going to come up to Subtool. We're going to say Extract, and we'll say Extract just to see. It's a little bit. That'll work. That'll work. But I'm getting some weird artifacts in here. Just kind of pass my unmask over these areas. Extract, yeah, it's better. Okay, so now we're gonna say accept, and so now we've got our mesh in here. Okay, so one of the things I want to do is oh no, I think you got some water back there. Let me check. The same thing happens to me while I'm teaching classes, so I'm not contagious, don't worry. Okay, glad I had this in here. Okay. Whew. Well, yeah. So what I wanted to do is I've got this. I've got my hood started. Always, yes. Okay. Cool. So what I want to do, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in geometry. I want to actually take off my creasing. When it creates these shapes, it goes through and it creates the polygroup border. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say uncrease all. Okay. So now if I just hit my smooth preview, hitting D, you can see it smooths that border a little bit. Let's go ahead. Let's say deformation. We're going to say polish crisp edges. And then we're going to come back up to geometry, Dynamesh, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go take the resolution way, way down, take the blur way down, or take the blur off, really. And so now we've got this piece. Okay. What I want to do is I want to be able to work on that top piece in symmetry and then add asymmetry. But I want it to be part of this subtool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my insert mesh brush. Just grab a piece. This is a special insert mesh brush that I have that I created because I didn't like the standard one that comes with ZBrush. I might make this one just available for a download. They're just really simple shapes, really great pieces. I've got rings in here, got a cone, and then I got a couple of the shapes that are that are standard. But then simple cube makes it really, really easy to you know what? Am I able to do this? Yeah, I didn't think that would work. Okay, I'm going to do something real quick. Let's say split, masked. Now I can geometry, mirror and weld. I set up a few keyboard shortcuts on ZBrush, but not a whole lot. So I just Control M to be able to merge down. So instead of having to come in here and hit merge down, I went ahead and you can assign keyboard shortcuts to anything. It's really super nice. So what I did is I just Control Alt tap on that, Control Alt, Control Shift, Control Shift. Nope, Control Alt. Yeah, it's Control Alt. So yeah, once you hit the Control Alt, then you can go through and you can assign your own keyboard shortcut. You can do that with brushes. You can do that with anything. With a brush, it's kind of different in that, you know, for instance, if I wanted to assign maybe like a certain keyboard shortcut to one of my hair brushes, I have to hit S to be able to narrow it down. It's got, okay, that one's already got it. Braids already has the one I want. Waves already has the one I want. This one doesn't have the one that I want. So my rope brush, I'll go ahead and I'll do that. Jose, welcome, dude. How you doing? Long time no see. Columbus, Ohio. Okay. I think my wife's sister moved just outside of Columbus. Can't remember. But yeah, so if I want to be able to assign a keyboard shortcut to this, the first thing you have to do is narrow it down to the first letter. Okay, so now that I've got that down, okay, I can hit Control Alt, tap on the brush, and it says press any combination to assign a keyboard shortcut. I'm gonna keep my mouse hovering over this, and I'm gonna hit R. Okay, so now if I hit SR, it'll go ahead and it'll turn to my brush, my rope brush. So B, S, R. And now I've got my rope brush that I can drag out. Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead, do this, get my move brush back, and let's Dynamesh. Let's start pulling this bad boy together. Pull this up, start shaping it. Let's see. Gotta see if I can get this fairly quickly so that I can have time for the rest of it. In fact, here's what we'll do. We'll just kind of reshape this a little bit. Get our mask lasso. And then here's just kind of a neat trick. You hold Control and drag out, and that'll just pull out that piece in an extended sort of way, in an extrusion sort of way. So it's a hard surface modeling technique that I learned several years back when I was on the ZBrush Sculpt Off, and it's been incredibly helpful. So yeah, I got that. Okay, let's kind of pull that, kind of smooth it out some. And now we can Dynamesh it together. So now it's all one piece. Okay. So since this is not really allowing us to see the rest of the head the way we want, we're just going to kind of sculpt it out. Not being super clean with this, a lot of this is not going to get seen. I'm not going to retopologize it, at least not as of right now. Really kind of just want to show some sculpting, just have fun with it, you know. Okay, smooth that out some. Get that pelt down there to smooth out. Okay, so now we can start kind of sculpting in the coyote's head. Oops. Okay, let's start kind of, yeah, that's probably about where I want the ears to kind of come out. Oh, shoot. Here's what I'm going to do. Mask from the side, unmask from the top. Come on, you. So we'll add some asymmetry to this at some point. But for right now, C'est bon. Ça va bien. Ça va. All right. This is feeling a little too cat-like. So in order for this to feel more dog-like, we're going to have to get a longer snout. Something like that might work. It's kind of feeling fox-like. That could work. Sad for the fox, but you know. Oh, cool! You're liking the Hogbot series? That's great. Yeah, I've got a robot. Yeah, let me show you guys because this is fun. I mean, this is a fun series. Yeah, I totally want the Legend of Korra series on Netflix. That'd be so awesome. So on ArtStation, I've gone through and I've added. I guess over here. Store. There's a hard surface series. It looks like there's a sale going on right now. So if you're interested, you know, jump on, go check it out. You know, it's super cool, super handy. So yeah, it's just hard surface techniques in ZBrush. I go through and I build the entire Hogbot using hard surface modeling techniques. So you get all sorts of things from Z modeler to polygroups and Z remesher, all sorts of little things. So it's super fun. Yeah, just a great little tutorial series. I'm glad you're liking it, Jose. That's great. You see. Fossil trees from the Devonian period, 380 million years ago. Try to boast, but nobody cares or knows what I'm talking about. Sorry, bud. Think Wikipedia. Yeah, that's fun. Let's start blocking in. So eventually, I'll probably add in like a little bit of like as if he has like some sort of extra shirt underneath, and that'll be cool. But for right now, let's get this mask, or at least the idea of the mask, going in. I'm going to pull out. You know what? I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do some hard surface modeling, or like, you know, Z modeler modeling. I don't think I do. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna split this off. Split unmasked. So this way we can go through. Let's rename things. Fox pelt. Let's say shoulder pelt, and then we're gonna name this mask. A series for sculpting head and body, huh? Yeah, maybe we'll have to go through and do that. Oops. Okay, so let's start pulling this in. Actually, let's do this. I want to keep the top half of this fairly round, so I'm going to kind of smoosh it, make it bigger, and just kind of pull it into place. And here's where we're going to start getting into some of the fancies in ZBrush. This is super handy. Okay, so actually let's change back to the transpose line. You can do that by hitting Y, or you can come up here and turn off your gizmo line. This is super handy, okay? It's super great. So I'm going to click from that center point, and I'm just going to drag out, and that flattens the backside. I mean, I could go through, and I could just take this and hide it, and then delete it, which I may end up doing later, but right now I'm just more focused on trying to sculpt it. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's get... get my gizmo back. I want to go into my deformers. I want to say extender. I think, yeah, there we go. So I can change where my center point is. And now I can extend out. Okay, so this is super helpful for me to be able to just create something, you know, something different, something new. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I teach at Noman, and I really enjoy being able to share knowledge. Super, super fun. Okay, so now that that's done, I can come in here and hit accept. Okay. So now I've got kind of the base for the top part of the mask. I'm looking at this eyebrow ridge as kind of this the peak. So I'm trying to place that accordingly. Something like that, maybe. Something like that. Let's squash it down some. It's been fun, actually. I've been watching the Avatar Airbender series. I bought it like years ago on iTunes. So I've been watching that lately with my kids, and that's been a ton of fun. They're super enjoying it. They laugh at all the funny parts, and it makes me feel like a good dad. I'm just kidding. Especially when I can compare myself to Lord Ozai. Pull this in. ¿Cómo puedo ver el modelo en transparencia? Puedes hacer eso con esto. Hay un botón aquí que tiene la opción de tener la transparencia. Pues es una manera de poder ver el modelo, a un modo así, pues, en que puedes ver a través de las otras cosas. Bueno, sí. Okay, right here, let's go ahead and say Dynamesh. So it's already got the Dynamesh. Sweet. No te sale, ¿Cómo es? Oh, puedes apretar el control y se arrastra los botones aquí al lado. Así que puedes agarrar aquí arriba donde te sale la flecha y puedes arrastrar hacia arriba o hacia abajo. Si no, lo puedes encontrar aquí adentro de... Aquí está, ¿cierto? Chuta. Document, draw. ¿Dónde sale? Chuta. Oh, ahí está. En Transform, aquí abajito, te sale el botón de transparente. Alt X. No, para mí no sale así. Alt X, it doesn't come out like that for me. Thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to learn French. I think French should be kind of fun. My wife speaks French. Spanish is one that I learned in Chile. Beautiful language. I love French. Spanish, sorry. Okay, that'll be cool. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of smooth that out. Let's pull this out some. Okay, shoot, come on. Yeah, I like Spanish because it's so easy. It's so simple. Like, a word is pronounced the way that it's spelled. You know, you don't have to worry about not being able to pronounce a word because it is what it is, you know? In French, it's like I have to worry about, well, to be fair, French has rules. I just haven't learned the rules yet. So, yeah, got to be fair. But okay, so for the eyes, for the inside of the eyes, I want to use something called a clip brush, clip curve. The nice thing about the clip curve is that it works in symmetry, and not all these brushes work in symmetry. Yeah. So I speak Spanish, como ya sabes. I'm learning French and I'm learning Portuguese. I'm learning Portuguese because I have a lot of friends from Brazil, and I'd like to be able to, in Spanish you say tirar la talla, it's just a great. I don't know. I like languages. I feel like it's a great way to keep your mind sharp. I find it challenging, and so yeah. So French and Portuguese. French so I can flirt with my wife. Portuguese so I can chat with my friends. One of the other things I want to learn is German. German is just kind of a cool language. I also have friends in Germany. I don't think they really feel a huge need to be speaking to everyone in German because they speak to everyone in English. So I mean, it's not a big deal in that regard. But I'm going to need to step up my resolution at some point. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to mask out the mouth. Let's see, it feels like one, it's too low. It feels too low. Okay, so let's do that. And that's too wide. Too tall, so let's pull it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I like languages. So we can do our same little extension deal here. In fact, maybe what we'll do, let's I'm going to hit Control D just for the sake of getting some extra resolution. How's that? Okay, cool. So it's got the backside masked out, and that's nice. I switch back and forth between orthographic and perspective depending on what I'm trying to do. Right now I'm trying to make sure that different landmarks in the mask match up with the landmarks of the face. And so it's really helpful to me to multiple subdivision levels. It's really helpful to me to be able to work in an orthographic way. For those of you who aren't familiar with orthographic and perspective terms, that's just saying, you know, working without perspective. It's as if you were to go through and say, I can see everything. I can see the whole front of a thing without having to worry about like not being able to see the different sides of the cheeks. I mean, it's like you're looking at it straight on without any kind of variation of. That's a hard term to explain. I have no idea how to explain that one. But yeah, orthographic without perspective. Dutch and English. That's pretty cool, Pancake. Somebody from Berlin, huh? That's pretty cool. Yeah, German's pretty cool. I want to learn German. Multi-languages. Thanks, yes. New to ZBrush. You always work. Yeah, so that hopefully that answers your. Wait, I don't want to say your username to respond to you. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to say what your username is, but the question about the orthographic or perspective, hopefully that answers your question. My course, my course at Gnomon is stylized characters. Let's go ahead and take this up to. Let's take it up to 64. My numlock is like a pain in the butt. It drives me absolutely nuts. It's like, so in order to use my keypad, I have to go through and turn it off or turn it on manually every time. It drives me nuts. My course at Gnomon is stylized character creation. I think at the moment, well, I mean, I think generally speaking, anyone anywhere in the world can take classes at Gnomon. I think it's just something that they're advertising more heavily right now because we don't have the ability to go to campus. But it's a great course where I speak mostly about creating stylized characters. All right, let's use my pinch brush. This is a great way to be able to create like a nice crisp ridge along the center. But yeah, stylized character creation. So it's great. I really love that class about character design. I try to talk about kind of the full creation process. So talking about, you know, starting with a concept. I try to have my students use a concept of somebody else's, so that they can you kind of get industry standard practice. It's important as a modeler to be able to handle somebody else's different styles, and so yeah, that's kind of the basic idea of it. They have to start off by picking 5 concepts, and then they have to do speed sculpts of those concepts. didn't want to change color. Stop that. And then and I have them go through and get permission from the artist as well. I feel like that's important. Then it enhances their ability to do networking and things like that. It's pretty nice. So anyway, so then from there, the idea is to do the five speed sculpt studies. From the five speed sculpt studies, they go on to taking their 3 favorites, and they kind of refine those. They push those, just the bust, you know, it's just a speed sculpt bust, but they take that bust and they refine that to kind of a final state where it looks like it's something that's, you know, portfolio ready, and it's great, you know, that you get it so that it's looking great. You figure out what's working, what isn't working, if it's working, and then from there they go ahead and take their top one, you know, whatever one they feel like whatever one they feel like is their best one, they take that all the way to finish for their final. And it's been incredible so far. I've seen some really cool results, and yeah, I've super loved teaching that class. The course name is Stylized Character Creation at Nomen. So yeah, super fun. Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting that ZBrushers from Utah have a similar approach to art. Redbeard, Shane Olson, myself. I think it, to an extent, for sure. A lot of what Shane Olson and Matt Thorup have in common is because they work together at, not Backtrap, they worked together at Avalanche, at Disney Avalanche when the Infinity Days were going on. On my part, a lot of what I learned I had to learn on my own. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's too much. And I think that something that's kind of neat is that if there's a really good practice professionally, it's always, you always see people kind of going through and adapting it or adopting it, you know. Well, that's too much. Which is great, you know. I mean, it's this community, the art community, it's all kind of based on sharing and you know, we as artists, a lot of times we try as much as we can to kind of lift and boost each other, so that you know, so that the community as a whole can thrive. And I think that those people, I've seen them be the most successful. You know, people like Shane Olson, people like Matt Thorup. Matt Thorup is great because he streams and he does, you know, fun things like that. But he also goes through and has his tutorial series that he shares, you know, and I think that that's phenomenal. It's great. Pardon me. Okay, so for this nose, I want this nose to feel like it's kind of a plant-on. Plant-on is kind of the term that we use at Disney to refer to things that are, you know, sitting on the surface. So I want it to feel like it's its own piece. So we're going to what am I going for? Brush, insert. I want my primitives. I'm going to use my cube Just drag that out so that it's nice. And then this is going to end up not being Dynamesh, but I want to split it first. Split unmasked. Okay, so that's still Dynamesh. This is still Dynamesh. Turn that off. So now we got this simple cube. Okay, I want to be able to retain the sharpness of the shapes. Okay, so let's kind of bring this down, shrink it to size. Okay, that might be. Okay, I'll drag it clear in there. Why not? So one of the things that you can do to be able to create yeah, the whole face that we spent like the front end of the stream on, it's all covered by a mask. I lost my train of thought. Oh well, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go ahead, let's do something like this. I'm going to need to add some more subdivisions in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my my whatchamadiggits, the ZModeler brush. And I just want to go through and modify this in a way that fits what I need out of the character. Okay, so you see now we're getting this sort of effect. It's starting to take shape. It's starting to become something. Yeah, let's make this wider because it's not wide enough. It's too wide down here. Let's kind of pull this up so that it's more in line with stuff. Might be easier to control that way. So this is going to be too wide. Bring this in. Bring this in. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now I got to check and make sure that this eye line is lining up. It's not really. So, well, it kind of is. No, that's looking good. That's looking good. Look, we'll take this. Oh, in fact, here, let's do it this way. Grab a mask circle. Duh. It's too round. There's another one. Mask circle there. Okay, so now I've got that going in there. Now we can come over here and we can say with the mask pen, I'm just going to click and drag across the bottom there. It's too far up. If your mask is a little bit too high or not quite in the placement that you want, you can just use your spacebar to kind of replace it. Invert my mask. Okay, and then we're just going to use, just going to use our little extrude tool trick there. Okay, it's starting to come together. Kind of looks more like Man and Iron Mask to me right now. We're running super short on time. Okay, let's go ahead and smooth that out. So yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen the show that I'm kind of referring to here, Legend of Korra, I'd say go check it out. I'm not entirely sure how you can watch it right now. I know that it's probably online somewhere for free. I think you can probably even see it on the Nickelodeon website for free. I don't know if you can see the whole thing though. But yeah, super great series. Fun characters, very enjoyable. And great animation too. So if you're into animation, it's a great way to kind of just be inspired. Make that a little bit wider. Then I gotta kind of true up this this shape. And true up refers to just making it fit more the other silhouettes, making it so that the shape is kind of more streamlined, so that it's more true to the form. I need to also go through and kind of bring this down in. How many hours would you suggest putting into personal work daily? Putting into personal work daily. As much as you can. For a lot of people, it's not as simple as, you know, just sitting down at a computer and making it all work. I mean, I know that, you know, I try to take a little bit of time every day. Not nearly as much as I'd like, but I try to take some. I would recommend at least taking a couple hours if you can. If you're facing art block, like I know a lot of people do it from time to time, I would say take a break. Either taking a break or switching it up, doing something different. Those are great ways to be able to really just kind of freshen yourself up, get your mind thinking differently. Go outside, go on a walk. I like going on walks. That's something that I do a lot of. Lately, I've been trying to take the kids on like Pokemon walks. They like Pokemon a lot, and so I take them on walks to play Pokemon Go. My wife and I are not big into Pokemon at all. My wife is really super annoyed with it, and I try to tolerate it. But you know, it's fun. It's good time with the kids. So you know, spend time with people that you care about. Get outside, do something inspiring. Yeah, so that's kind of the sort of stuff that I recommend. If you need inspiration for personal projects, hit Pinterest. I love hitting Pinterest. I love getting lost in the sea of pins. It's really quite an incredible little community, a great tool, fantastic site. You know, be mindful of it that you know you don't get too lost. Otherwise, you will end up having spent 2 hours on scrolling when you could have used 2 hours for you know making a cool character or something. I don't know. Whatever it is that you intended to do with the research you're intended to do. You know? I intend to finish this character. So what I'll probably do, I mean, we got like another 5 minutes. So I mean, I'll try to work a little bit on this while we talk. But go ahead. We can. Oh shoot, lazy mouse, lazy radius. Could answer any questions you guys have. that way it's this time can be useful to you guys. How many pieces of anatomical figures, both human, creature, animal, did you showcase to Disney? What would you recommend for your portfolio? So at Disney, most of what I did is environment based. I designed the rides in 3D for Disneyland Tokyo. So my character work was really impressive to them because they could see the control of curve and design and things like that, and they really liked that. And so I would say, try going for the jobs that you want. Advertise yourself for the jobs that you want, but don't be afraid to apply to the jobs that you can get. At Disney, eventually I started doing figures for the park as well, and that was a lot of fun. Got to do that for the last I don't know, like 9 months of my time at Disney. So that was a buttload of fun. That was so cool. I can't wait for all this to be over, so hopefully I can go back. I've got a friend there who wants me for a project, so so hopefully everything goes back to normal soon. Am I streaming regularly? I've streamed twice this month. We'll have to see what happens next month. But yeah, I mean, I want to stream regularly. I really enjoy streaming. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that happens. You're going to bring the mask down, mesh density, retop it by hand, use ZRemesher. I might use ZRemesher to start. I'll put the video up on my YouTube channel. You can look it up at youtube.com/smartist. My daughter's out singing Elsa right now. So yeah, I'll put that process up on my YouTube. Should be fun. I don't know when it'll be up there, but yeah, I'll put it up when this piece is finished, so that way we can get a little bit of a full circle effect. My Twitch channel, so you can find me pretty much anywhere under SMAARTIST. You can see in the middle of the screen there at the bottom, right there. You can see that's my handle. You can find me pretty much anywhere under that name. Well, thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of fun keeping things super clean. It's a challenge sometimes, and I feel like some people do it better. But so the mask so far is pretty much the only thing that's super clean. But we'll get it going. We'll get it going. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming and chilling with me. Like I said, I'll go through and I'll finish sculpting this out. I'll add in the hair. I might play with fiber mesh. We'll see. My buddy Pablo, you probably follow him on social media, Pablo Munoz. He's been a really big help, big mentor for me in learning fiber mesh and stuff like that. So maybe I'll go through and play with fiber mesh some, see if I can get that to work. But yeah, cool guys. If you guys have any other questions or comments or whatever, feel free to go look me up. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on pretty much everything. So yeah, feel free to go find me. Follow the Pixologic channel. Paul Gabry is coming up next at 11 o'clock. He's one of the developers for Pixologic, and he is phenomenal. He is great. He does amazing stuff, and he's incredibly knowledgeable. He answers a ton of questions, and he's super fast. So yeah, go check him out. 11 o'clock, well, 11 o'clock Pacific time. It's in an hour. Go check it out. So yeah, I'll be speaking French in the next. I don't know how to say maybe in French, but n'est pas possible. Never mind. I'll stop trying. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for coming, guys, and hope to see you on the next. Keep track of the calendar on ZBrushLive.com, and yeah. Poet. Yeah. Anyway, my pronunciation.